I have covered many horror stories from substances that people took and they didn't go as planned. I've read DMT, diphenhydramine, mushrooms, salvia, and many more. But there is one drug that is so powerful in its delirious ways that no matter what dose you take, you're bound to have one of the craziest nights of your life. Of course, I'm talking about the almighty Datura. Datura, also called Jimson weed, the devil's trumpets, moonflowers, and thorn apples, to name a few, is a herbaceous annual and short-lived perennial in the tomato family, Solanaceae, with a confused taxonomy and disputed origin because of their extensive naturalization through temperate and tropical regions worldwide. Of the 8 or 9 species in the genus Datura, many naturally exhibit extreme variability in foliar and floral characteristics, and many are very similar in appearance. The plant has a foul stench and is widely found growing naturally in clay soils found in fallow fields, croplands, old feedlots, waste areas, nearby construction sites, and even deserted vacant places. The plant has purplish-green hollow stems and smooth erect oval-shaped leaves that are arranged alternately on it. Different from the plant, the flowers have a pleasant smell and are found in 3 distinct colors, which are yellow, red, violet, or greenish-white. They are usually large and are bisexual. The fruits, however, have a bitter acid-like taste, and they are knobby, ovate, and they are covered with short spikes. The seeds are enclosed within the fruits and they are spiny, whereas the roots are brown, cylindrical, and branched. Depending on the conditions a plant is growing under, the size of the plant, leaves, and flowers can range from very large to very small, which has led to many new species being described that are later found to be simply variations that developed in different locations due to the conditions. The greatest diversity of species occurs in Central America and Mexico, suggesting this as the origin of the genus and showing that it has been around for at least 3,000 years. All Datura plants contain a number of alkaloids, especially in the seeds and flowers, that are toxic, narcotic, and hallucinogenic. The toxicity depends on the age of the plant and growing conditions, with serious illness or death as a possibility from ingestion. They are also poisonous to cattle, horses, and sheep. The cultivation of Datura is banned in some states and municipalities. Datura has been around for a while now. Like other plants with psychoactive properties in them, Datura is no stranger to humans. For centuries, Datura has been revered as sacred visionary plants by people who have experienced it for themselves. From the years 1330 to 1700, Solanaceae plants were thought of as diabolic incarnations. Hence, Datura became known by names such as the Devil's Apple, Mad Apple, and the Devil's Work. The name Jimson weed actually came from the name Jamestown weed, because Captain John Smith and his English colonizers, with their unsuccessful colonization of Jamestown in Virginia of the United States, the British soldiers were reportedly given this Jimson, or at the time, Jamestown weed, in 1607 in a salad that was prepared for them that they, with no hesitation, ate up. The behavior after eating this concoction of a salad made the soldiers erratic in their behavior for the following days. Can you imagine the fear that was going through their heads at the time? This was a fact that I actually didn't know, and I thought I'd share it with you because I thought it was really interesting. Anyways, no one knows exactly where Datura originated, but people like to assume mostly that the European explorers of the New World brought it over. But like I said before, it was spread vastly in Mexico and Central America. Wherever it came from, Datura played an important role as the culture plant, particularly in Asia and the Americas. Throughout these parts of the world, these plants were particularly valued for its ability to induce visionary dreams, to help in foretelling the future, and to reveal the causes of disease and misfortune. A particular species, which was then referred to as taloch, was used as an enema or suppository for pain relief in initiation rituals. It was also administered as a hallucinogen. In medieval Europe and England, datura was utilized for its mind-altering properties. It appears that in European and other native religions, witches and shamans originally held the sacred knowledge required to utilize these powerful plants safely. They were used in pagan rituals and as components of the infamous flying green ointments in witchcraft practices. It is debatable whether some of these so-called pagan rituals of the medieval era were merely recreational, diabolically intended, or designed for some well-considered medical purpose. The growth of European monotheism resulted in the eradication of pagan beliefs and practices, and the persecution of those who practiced them. The Catholic Church condemned even the research on natural magic, so natural healers were threatened for recording these beliefs and practices. Witch hunts during the Renaissance period further marginalized folk groups, leading to widespread persecution and an even greater skepticism towards Silencia's plants and their use. It is probable that datura was used recreationally up to the witch hunts of the 17th century, at a time when alcohol was super expensive. During the Middle Ages, the practice of combining datura seeds with alcoholic drinks was popularized in Europe. But the use of datura was not limited to only those parts of the world. People from India smoked the leaves and seeds and mixed it with marijuana. The plant was highly revered as a powerful aphrodisiac. The Indians mixed the powdered seeds with butter and ingested it orally for impotence or applied it topically to invigorate the male genitalia. The leaves were also smoked to relieve asthma and were one of the primary ingredients in anti-asthmatic products. The Chinese were no strangers either. They primarily mixed datura with wine and weed to treat colds and nervous conditions. So, datura has been used for so long by many different cultures around the world, and the general consensus was that the plant was very therapeutic and helped in many, many ways. Now you may be asking yourself, how can this plant be helpful in any way when in modern times all you hear is how bad datura is? Let me tell you, it's hard to find a story where the user used datura and the outcome ended up being beneficial or positive. I can attest to that because I read them for this channel. I believe with my heart that no one on this green earth should take this stuff. Yes, I just told you how centuries ago people used it for benefits, but that was a long time ago, where we didn't have the same technology or doctors as we do now. What was beneficial then is not beneficial now. Not even that long ago, we thought asbestos was safe, we put cocaine in our Coke drinks, and we thought that heroin was medically helpful. Datura is not something to joke around with. The implications from taking this plant can lead to problems that last a lifetime. I keep calling it a plant, but in reality, it is a deliriant. Deliriants alter your perception of reality and make you see hallucinations of things that aren't actually there. Popular hallucinations include smoking cigarettes that aren't there, and seeing people and having conversations with them just to blink and open your eyes and see that they weren't there the whole time. But those are just the mild hallucinations. Datura is an anticholinergic drug. These kinds of drugs cause dry mouth, blurred vision, overheating, and in some cases, dementia-like symptoms. That's why when you take datura, you could be causing permanent damage to your mind and body, especially in high doses. Some side effects of datura include psychosis, depersonalization, loss of motor control, paranoia, and of course hallucinations. There are many more, but if I listed all of them, you'd be watching this video as long as datura takes to wear off. The first effects you feel from datura are physical. Your mouth and throat start to feel dry, and then you feel hot. Your pupils dilate so much it becomes difficult to focus on anything. Shortly after this, the psychological effects start to kick in. Strange and chaotic visions appear and don't go away for several hours or days. Even when the experience is over, people often feel persistent weirdness or lapses in memory. Here's a video of a man who is allegedly on datura and has been tripping for a long time.
Alright. It's March 5th, 2008. don't seem to be coming down. It's been about 2 months. I can't really go out. Been spending a lot of time in the basement. I don't think it's wearing off. I don't really know what to do to make it wear off. Just don't feel like I'm getting that center feeling, center back. I think I boiled the roots right. I did what it said in the book. I don't feel like I'm ever gonna come down. And it's not cool. It's getting weird. It's definitely getting weird.
Now, some people say it could be a fake video, but I think it's real, just because of how many things I've read about Datura and how persistent these trips can be. Moving on, Datura is most known for inducing hallucinations. These hallucinations are different from that of LSD, magic mushrooms, DMT, or even salvia. These substances change the way we perceive visual and auditory sensory information. Datura seems to invent entirely new information, which is seamlessly combined with reality. The hallucinations are so strong and so realistic, and it's impossible for those affected to be able to tell the difference between what they're imagining and what's happening in real life. The most unfortunate part about this is that with Datura, these alternate realities are almost always nightmarish and disturbing. You can hear some of these nightmarish hallucinations by listening to the Datura horror stories that I read on my channel. I know the people subscribed to me have, but if you're new, consider checking them out. With the mental and physical pain that people endure on Datura, they end up going to the hospital. As a doctor would, they give them drugs to calm the trip down, so the people end up going back to normal, or as normal as they can be. This isn't true for everyone though. Although we don't know how high the death count is for Datura, there was one case in 2004 where a 19-year-old male was admitted to the hospital after ingesting an unknown quantity of Datura, probably a very high dose, and the 19-year-old had blood concentrations of hyoscyamine and scopolamine in his urine. This fatality ended up being the highest blood concentration ever reported for his death. So, why do people even take this stuff if it causes such negative effects? Well, if you didn't know, some people aren't smart sometimes. If you're watching this video and you've taken Datura, please don't get offended by my statement, because I think you know it probably wasn't a good idea that you took it. But if you did end up having a good experience on it, then good for you. But who's to say that next time won't be completely horrible? That just about wraps up this video. I thought I'd make this video to teach people about the dangers of Datura, although it may have positive effects if used correctly. But the super negative effects outweigh the positive, and they could last a lifetime.